do what you love. And that's when we're in the balance of love. So if we pursue what we love, that's doing something with the best hope, and that's how we help each other when we're not in good places, because all we could do is inspire by sharing.
Psychic portraits and spirit portraits to life. She's an award-winning production designer, third-degree high priestess.
Grow and change and move forward in your life because the universe is on our side. It wants to share this with us. Why are you waiting? Art and magic, yes. The science behind what our minds perceive as hope and fear are the two sides. And when we are in balance, that's when we're in the balance of love, because that's when we have hope for the best and fear for the worst.
Hey, Deidra, we're going live any second now. Who do you want to do a shout out to?
Caden, because he did something brave and I'm at his place.
All right, Caden, shout out to you. How's it going? Hey guys, today we have a super special guest joining us who is a master of combining her psychic abilities and her artistic talent to bring psychic portraits and spirit portraits to life. She's an award-winning production designer, third-degree high priestess, and a published illustrator with over 20 years of experience in both art and magic with a K. She has worked on over 25 film pieces and formal training in progressive witchcraft with influences in many traditions. She's not just an artist, but a storyteller who uses her craft to evoke emotions and bring hope and inspiration to others. None other than Deidra Catero. How are you today, Deidra?
Hi, guys. I'm doing well. How are you? Sorry, as I adjust to the sun, wherever it might be today.
That's right. Where you are going to be. Don't worry. You're all good. We can see you, and it's all nice. So, by the way, for everyone who's out there watching and wants to ask Deidra questions, feel free to write something in the chat, and we'll bring those up later in the day. But we are going to talk about spirit portrait readings today. I am like enthralled and just like amazed you do this kind of thing. So first of all, so everyone knows, what the heck is a spirit portrait reading?
Okay, a spirit portrait reading is when I look at you or a couple or a photo of someone that has passed on or a photo of you and your beloved pet. It could be anything. You don't even have to be there. It's like a photo usually that you just send to me from somewhere across the world. And it's kind of like automatic writing, but automatic painting. So I paint what I see, and then I do a reading off of it.
And you do it for the person? Do they have to be in front of you? Do they have to be around you? What happens?
They don't have to be in front of me. They don't have to be around me. Oftentimes it's just a photo that someone sends to me. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be that person, although a reading is someone's will and you don't want to mess with that. So if you want to get it as a gift for someone, you have to get their permission. And then we'll do it. And then I send you the painting or sculpture at the end. And you have an accompanying, well, really the whole point is the reading that goes with it.
Let's take a look at a few, because we've got some like this, and you can talk about them briefly. I know you can't really say whose it is and all that kind of stuff, but like, what is this made out of, and what's the background? What are the colors? What is all this?
Okay, so my primary mediums are, I will make it on an 8x10 art board, so it's like thicker so it doesn't bend or anything, and I'll use crow quill, which is like dip ink, because I'm like old school like that, and and watercolor on top of it. So that tends to be what most of them are made of, but sometimes they're three-dimensional. Sometimes they're crafted pieces of paper that like actually come out and are 3D. Sometimes it's more textural, like a relief. It really is what the universe kind of like reveals to me. And the thing that I find the most interesting about them is they're very different from, as you said, like I'm an illustrator and I'm an artist on my own. So my astral art or my occult comics, because I'm a dork, are very different than, like, you could tell when that's like, oh, that's a Deidra Catero piece, versus the spirit portraits, which are like not my style at all, but you could tell are just my hand. So that's kind of been really interesting, even to me, as they surprise me every time and how they come out and how detailed the readings are for the person that I'm trying to work with and heal.
So when you do the reading, you're saying the person doesn't have to be there with you. Do you record the reading and send it to them that way, or do you write it down, or how does the reading get done?
So I do this fun thing where I try to time lapse it. So I actually have like one of those overhead ring lights with the like phone holdy do. That's a 3D one right there, the butterfly. And I time lapse the process of the reading of me creating the spirit portrait, so they get to experience that as well. And then I write down the reading digitally, and wherever they contact me, whether it's social media or like if we Facebook or if we email, that's where I'll send them the digital copy. So if they want to print it, or if they want to save it for later, or if they just like want to read it and never deal with it again, they don't have to.
So these are frameable though, right? You can,
Yeah,
because
so they're
I
a
would put
flammable
them up so
piece.
I can see them on my wall right in front of me.
Exactly, they're a flammable piece, and they seem to be so far because you remember this is like an interesting new combination of my skill sets and life passions together. I've only been doing it for a few years, but they are relevant to now. So whatever kind of like when you get a reading, whether it be like a crystal ball or tarot or oracle or palmistry or whatever form of divination you choose to use, oftentimes they're telling you what you need to hear, and it's not from me. It's like being a conduit for the universe or for your soul coming through to be like, hey, this is what you need to hear right now. So I mean, it's true, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the things that come through are pretty potent and pretty powerful, and even for me the depth of them are really surprising because I don't know anything about the client, and the things that come through are really specific, and I've been told they're really helpful and really important to share, and they've helped them through the process. But those pieces, which is kind of cool, is you could frame them, and if you choose to get another one like down the line in a year, in a number of years, like every decade or whatever you do, you could end up with like a gallery of the snapshots of your life. It's like photos of your soul that you get to have in those moments.
That is very cool.
Right?
Yeah. I will tell you, going through like archived photos that I have right now, and I've got boxes and boxes that are going to Legacy Box. That is a cool idea. And I have not seen anyone else do what you're doing
Thank you.
this way. How did you decide to take like the whole psychic phenomenon and mix it with art? Like,
I didn't. It was suggested to me. I
like
mean, I
how?
do my
Who did
astral.
this?
I know I do my astral art and my occult comics, which are like my ways of combining like dorky information and like the dweeby part of myself that I love with the occult comics. But the astral art is like my personal visions and my personal experiences, and there are stories that go with that. But the spirit portrait readings was actually suggested to me by a fellow medium named Edward. He's incredible, by the way, and his like animal readings on par. Anyway, so he and I were exchanging readings because that's what you do when you love each other. It's like skill sharing. And he said to me out of nowhere, he was like, you should do spirit portrait readings. And I said, what's that? And he said, I don't know, you'll figure it out. That's what I heard. And you know what? I did. I sat next to a friend and I was like, I think I have to look at this person and just without doubt, which is the hard part of being both a witch and an artist, right? We doubt ourselves and we doubt what we want to, what we see and hear and like what we want to create. So I actually spent the time with my astral art over the number of years and my occult comics, kind of like, and also the years of being a high priestess, like without doubt, like just letting conduit, right? So that's what I started to do. And originally they were more auric, but now they're like images, like snapshots of something really specific that I see that reveals themselves to me. And sometimes it's right away. And I've noticed that for the more three-dimensional ones, they take a little longer because they literally show me how to like build it with layers, which is kind of cool.
So when people get their art and they look at it, what kind of feedback have you been getting? Because I think your art's really cool and I think it's incredible. But like when you've got that piece that's for somebody and they open it up and they go, oh my God, this is me.
It's really an incredible experience. I mean, I've been fortunate that some of the people have lived close by. So I mail it to you in like a little clear envelope like you would for any other print. And I like have a little swag in there, a little love note on the back because I'm, you know, a weenie.
Yeah.
And
You're
like,
lovable. There you go.
Love. But I've been fortunate to be in the presence of some people that unveiled it for themselves, or even when sharing the reading, just the responses people get back to me are really truly incredible. I mean, one of my most favorite ones was from someone who said, what an elegant way to receive information that isn't always happy, but is powerful and deep and meaningful. And that's what a reading is, right? Like from anywhere you go, everyone's afraid of like bad information, but it's not bad. It's just like anyone sometimes giving you tough love. It's just telling you something that you need to hear in order to grow and change and move forward in your life because the universe is on our side. It wants to share this with us. And she said, what an incredible way to share it. That's not like, you know, in a setting where someone's like looking at you at a table and like, you know, the darkness or like in that cliche. And I love doing that too, by the way. But it is really kind of wonderful to share something in this eloquent language of combining art and magic. And it's something that you could have forever and have a memory of, because like, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Yeah. So it shares more than I could even express verbally. So when I do the reading, I break it down by line, shape, opacity, the thing itself, the texture. And that's how you do a reading. That's like color theory and like the science of psychology and how readings work and like where those things, that psychology comes from and how it applies to human consciousness.
Are you actually thinking the colors when you're doing it, or is it flowing out of you?
It just flows through. Like I can't explain it any other way, like other than automatic painting. So what happens for me is I'll see a picture of someone and I'll just like get a glimpse of, I'm gonna call it the snapshot of whatever it is. I'll get that glimpse, and then sometimes I'll just like paint it right away. Sometimes I'll feel like I know that's only a piece of it. Like I know I'm waiting for something else to reveal itself. And oftentimes, like I said before, that wait time is when there's like other layers. And this is like I do a lot of like lucid dreaming and like paying attention in my sleep. And that's how like a lot of recipes come to me and how a lot of fabrication things come to me, where I'm just like consciously aware in my subconscious, and I will build things. Like I'll like prototype in my head. And it kind of reminds me of that, where it's like just revealing like the layers of like, oh, you have to put this paint layer down, and then you have to texture this, and then you have to add this, and it kind of just shows me how I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then I just build it. Whether
You
it be
know, it's funny because I know people are wondering, like, do I have to send her like what, a picture? Do I ask a question? Do I get to do any of this kind of stuff? Because I know like when people do tarot, you know, a lot of people will come in there already have a question about that they want to answer, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference here? You don't have to do that.
You don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
at least, I mean, I'm sure you can. I haven't had anyone like need to do that. But
Okay.
usually what I do is I ask someone to send me a photo. When they say, what kind of photo? It's for me, it's like, well, whatever you want to send, whether it's you, a beloved animal passed on, or here, someone else in this realm or the next. Like I have one from one of my mentors that passed on, and I keep it on my, I don't have a mantle, but like my mantle. And it reminds me of that energy we've had together. And it's like kind of like a family photo of us and our energy together. But when you send a photo, it's just whichever one you feel represents you the most. Like whatever you're feeling, send me that. Because that's what, I mean, it does it off of your energy no matter what. But it's easier for me to relate by looking at the photo that you feel your most self in.
Gotcha. Can you like tell us without revealing names or people like that, like what are some of the messages that you have actually put into some of the art that you've created?
A lot of them are like, why are you waiting? Kind of stuff like that. Or actually, some of them got really deep, and one of them, someone was actually in a health condition that I was not aware of, and the reading itself was like, hang in there. And from my perspective, I was like, I had no idea. Like I was like, what is it saying? So when that message got through to them, it I think helped them get through. And that is, for me, from my perspective, was when I was like, okay, even though I don't doubt my magic and I don't doubt my abilities in what I'm doing, because I've been doing these both art and both magic for so long, but it's still, you know, I'm still human. You still have that like imposter syndrome and that self-doubt. But when those readings come through, that the people come through and they're like, I never told you this information, how did you know that? Or hey, this is an aspect of my life that I never told anyone, and yet you're speaking to it, and I know exactly what this is referring to when you're saying it. Or in the image, like for instance, you saw the frog one over there, that's like a cartoon, which is weird because it's not like, I was like, hey, are you okay with this? Like it's not this like deep, powerful, empowering image, but it's a cartoon. But that meant so much to them, but the meaning behind each symbol was just as apparent and just as potent. But the lightheartedness reflected the person. So it's even surprising to me how deep those images come through. Because, and even though I've been doing readings for, I mean, like 20 years, I've been doing art for 20 years and all different forms and mediums and shapes, but it's still inspiring to me, even like to have it happen.
Do you find that the messages that you get are mostly happy? Are they sad, or are they just welcomed by the person that receives them? What do you find?
Welcomed. Even if they were like, I mean, I'm not gonna say they're sad. It's kind of like when you, any reading I've ever done, it's never been like, this terrible thing is going to happen to you in 3.5 days. You know, like it's not like that. It's more like, I mean, there are some specifics, but usually it's just to affirm the connection of communication that we're having. The specifics that come through are kind of more like tough love. That's how I'd say it. Like a reading, in any case, any sort of divination you receive, when people are afraid of hearing bad news, it's always tough love. It's like, this is something you have to work on, and you know it. I mean, a reading is nothing more than a pencil. It's a translation from your subconscious to your conscious, and this is the tool we're using. I'm using a tool that I'm creating to do the reading off of. So technically, I don't need to do the painting to do the reading. It's just easier than me remembering what I saw in my head. You know what I mean? To do the reading, because really the whole point of the spirit portrait reading is the reading itself. It's just kind of nice that you get a painting along with it, because that's like the middle process. In the same way that when you do a tarot reading, you have the card. The card is the translation. The painting is the translation. I'm the interpreter of the painting.
And does it have a amount of time that it takes you to do them? Like, I go like, oh my God, I'm having a party in 2 weeks and I need to have this painting on the wall. Is it that, or how long does it take to get one done?
It kind of depends. I usually tell people, "Oh, that's Lucy."
Oh,
I
hey,
usually it's the
Lucy.
cuddliest cat in the world. By the way, I get like chest sleeps and cuddles at night. On point. Definitely the happiest. Um, I usually tell people I'll get it to them within a week. But if I'm on a production, because remember I'm also a production designer and a historical
Yes.
magic consultant for film. So if I'm on a production, my focus is elsewhere. And as a creative person, you kind of like need to be open to be a conduit or need to be in the space or in the mindset. Like creative people know that it's hard to sit down and write or sit down and paint and let like the intuition and just insight and spark of inspiration come to you if you're thinking about something else. And a
Yeah.
production is a full-time job for that month and a half, and it takes up time. So if I'm on a production, I'll often tell the client that it takes up to a month to get their piece. And if something's like taking longer, if something's like happening in my life, remember I'm a human too. If I have personal things going on, I'll let them know ahead of time. But for the most part, especially if I'm not on a production, I will
Hmm.
get it to you within a week. And it's just like
Gotcha.
how long the mail takes to get to you.
Do you do readings for people? And if someone like Mina right now is asking, "Can I have a reading, please? Thank you."
I'd
And
be honored to.
can people also just ask you for readings because they want to be in touch with you and have you do it
Yeah,
because they like you?
yeah. No,
Okay.
I'd love that. I mean, I do tarot, oracle, Lenormand. I also do tea leaf readings. I do all sorts of divination. I just think that the spirit portrait readings are something unique that I have to offer.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in the world that are incredible readers and have their niches in different mediums. And I feel like it's kind of neat that this has become my medium because it literally is like as an artist, my medium.
Gotcha. By the way, what's your jewelry is beautiful. I like it, by the way.
This is so this is my pentacle that I've been wearing recently. It's a star with a golden spiral. The golden spiral is the Fibonacci sequence. It is the
Yes.
science behind what our minds perceive as beauty. And there's also the science behind a lot of magic, so they correlate, and I'm a dweeb, So
You're
art
just
and magic and
a
science.
magical dweeb. I love
Oh yeah,
that.
proud
I
nerd.
We're going to go deeper into Deidra. We're going to do something I've been doing with a few people lately called This or That. We're going to play a game. And all I want you to do is first thing out of your head, I want you to tell me, is it this or that? No thinking, no anything else. Okay.
Okay.
Some of the questions may not match you. I think they will, but we'll see. Okay. So traditional magic or contemporary magic?
They both apply.
Okay. Um, art magic or well, art or magic as a tool for healing?
That's not fair because I think both. Literally, my brand is called Art and Magic. MJ, get with
This
it.
is why I came up with like extra questions for you because I knew it's going to be harder than this or that. Spirit portraits readings for humans or for pets?
Oh, I do them for humans, but sometimes they're from pets.
Oh, nice. Now you also do filming, you do other stuff, but designing sets for live theater or for film?
Oh. I prefer to make immersive experiences that are fully atmospheric.
So you like practical stuff.
I love the stuff, but like, I mean, for film and for theater, like you're still technically seeing it through a box, whether it's a proscenium of a theater or like the square of your computer or television.
Uh-huh.
But the thing I love about it is being in it. So even when I do like ritual performance, like when I'm facilitating large rituals, I'm again a weirdo and a dweeb in the positive way. I mean weirdo with love.
Weird's a
I
good
like
thing.
to like dress up, and I like to, as a set designer, bring in props and bring in set dressing and like make you feel it when you're there. So I mean, ideally, I would love to do like come into my 3-dimensional space to do a performance.
Gotcha. Let's try an easier one. Mountains or city?
Mountains. Ugh.
Working solo or with a team?
I think both are necessary at different times.
Okay. Energy healing or physical healing?
You need both. You gotta do Eastern and Western. You have to have both. You can't have one or the other. They don't,
Okay.
otherwise your body isn't aligned.
Can you do spirit readings for the living and for deceased or no?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Spirit
for the perfect example would be like the one for my mentor that passed on. That was like a reading with him from him. I've done ones for people that have passed on before.
Okay.
It's just whatever image you send me is the reading that comes through.
Gotcha. Okay. Music or silence?
Depends on the day.
Uh-huh.
And
Alone time or social time?
again, depends on the day. You gotta have both. I'm an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. So I love extroverting and obviously sharing information and teaching and being in immersive experiences that share, because I think that why otherwise are we on this planet? Like, we're social creatures by nature. So otherwise, what's the point of our existence other than to share and grow together, right? But I also think that you're not able to share unless you've refilled your chalice and know what you're sharing by having the alone time.
How about early morning or late night?
I'm a weenie, so I get up early.
Yeah,
but I wish I could stay up later at night, but because I love the sky and the moon and stuff. So it depends on how tired I am.
We'll pass each other on as like two ships, because I'm a definitely late night, like 4 or 5 in the morning kind of person.
Oh no.
So, let me see, adventure or comfort?
Do you say adventure or comfort?
Yeah.
MJ, you need both of these things. Everything you're asking me, it's like you have to have both at different moments in time. Like right now, I'm on an adventure because I'm on the West Coast in Oregon with Kaden, but I'm in fluffy, comfy socks with little gripper bottoms because I am clumsy.
There you go. See, we're finding out all these things about you. You have all these things you want to combine. Reading or writing?
You need input in order to output.
Literature or art?
I think they're the same thing.
You think they're the same? Okay. I love you. You're amazing. Let me see. Mina wants to know if they can have a reading right now. Mina, I'm going to do one better for you. We're going to give you the emails and what am I trying to say? Social media references.
Yeah, reach out to me.
And here, let's see if we can pull those up right here. We've got you for Instagram. We got DCat Art and Magic. Remember, Magic with a K. But people can get in touch with you through Instagram. We've also got DCat Art and Magic on Facebook, also Deidra Catero. And you're on IMDb, so they can check out all the cool stuff that you've been doing, have done, and are going to do.
Fun things.
And of course, we've got just email if you want to be able to get in touch with Deidra through email, dcat.artandmagic@gmail.com. So that's the way to get in touch with her. It's been fast. It's always fascinating to talk with you.
Thank you. I always love it so much. It's so much fun.
And we didn't even get into like deep witchcraft today. We're going to do that again sometime.
We're going to have to just do another episode where we talk about the magic behind the magic.
We will definitely do that. What do you want people to remember about this and about you and about spirit portraits?
I think for me, the only thing I care about for people to remember about me is that I care. And all I want to do is share what I love by doing what I love and hopefully inspiring you to do what you love, because that's, I think, the purpose of us being here.
I agree with you.
And that's when we're in the balance of love, like, not to sound more like a weenie, but I personally believe that hope and fear are the two sides. And when we are in balance, that's when we're in the balance of love, because that's when we have hope for the best and fear for the worst. So if we pursue what we love, that's doing something with the best hope and the fear of nervousness, but that's us sharing our souls with each other. And like I said before, that's how we bring each other up. That's how we raise each other. That's how we help each other when we're not in good places, because all we could do is inspire by sharing.
You're amazing as a teacher. You're a perfect teacher. Thank you so much. I will have you back again sometime in the future. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, guys.